À tous DDO, attention pour agir au moins 1 minute.
The DDO is going to call out the 1 minute mark now, and we'll be into the final 60 seconds of tonight's mission.
Top moins 1 minute.
All that's left is to explain the ignition sequence, so you can get that while you're watching. Remember, we mentioned how power was passing from the ground to the launcher to make her autonomous. Well, this phase is carried out by the onboard computer. Here's what to watch for. The sequence begins when the cryogenic arms, those are the yellow bars in the middle there, they will swing back at minus 5 seconds. At 0, you'll hear the DDO call out allumage, which means ignition, and the main engine will light, but we do not lift off. You count to 7. For 7 seconds, the computers are checking the performance in the main engine while it's burning on the pad. They do that twice to confirm it. If all is well, then they give the orders to light the boosters, and away we go. We'll let you listen to the DDO as he calls out the final countdown.
À tous les DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage du moteur Vulcain. Allumage des 2 EAP, décollage. Paramètres bords normaux.
Well, we're underway. Beautiful shots. Close-up is taken by our cameraman Zaza out at the terrace. Hope Pierre-Yves is enjoying himself. Did you see the cryo arms swing open, and did you count to 7? Right on time at 18:18 local time. Ariane 5 began her mission lifting off perfectly from the ground, powering off the pad through the low clouds and into the skies above French Guiana here. These are beautiful shots, always impressive. Ariane rising into the sky, look at that, above French Guiana, leaving a trail of vapor. Right now she weighs 775 tons at liftoff. She's burning 5 tons of fuel per second. The DDO says everything is okay on board. 2.5 tons in each booster per second. And the core stage burning another 300 kilos per second. Ariane now following the program in the onboard computer, which is located in the vehicle equipment bay that's just under the satellites, which gives all the orders, including stage separations, which you'll soon begin to see. The VEB, Vehicle Equipment Bay, is the cockpit of the launcher, if you will.
Propulsion normale.
All the equipment weighs about a ton. We're in the first of 4 flight phases. The first 3 are powered. The last is not. We'll describe each in turn when Pierre gets back so that you can follow Ariane as she heads across the Atlantic in about 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes, where she'll separate the satellites roughly over the 2 coasts of Africa. Right now, the first flight phase, the single core stage engine is burning, and the 2 boosters are burning. The boosters will burn for another 6 or 7 seconds, 240 tons in just over 2 minutes. They're the first to be extinguished.
Séparation des étages d'accélération à
The
poudre.
DDO has just called out the extinction. You can see them falling away, and the single point of light burning below them, that's the main engine, still burning the core stage. What it looks like up there, as they drop off the vehicle, there's another one, of course, out of camera range on the left. They're going to fall about 500 kilometers from shore. Look at that, beautiful shots. The main engine still burning in the middle, and the 2 boosters to either side. They're gonna fall. The boosters are into a protected area. French Guiana chosen in part as a base for its opening on the ocean.
La trajectoire du lanceur est normale.
Launches posing no threat to the local population. Before the boosters are empty of their fuel, their push diminishes, and the onboard computer senses this drop in acceleration and gives the order to separate them. We're in the second powered flight phase, the main engine burning alone, and all is normal, says the DDO. And Pierre-Yves has come back, and his eyes are as big as dinner plates. How is it out there?
That was a great experience. So it starts with a bright glow on the horizon. and then it rises up along the sky. It leaves a trail of clouds lit by the sun, and it was fantastic. Really a great experience.
What impressed you most? The sight, the sound?
The trail of clouds lit by the sun. That was really unexpected. With the sunset, it had many rich colors from pink to white, yellow. Fantastic. Very nice.
Well, I hope that inspires some of you to come down and watch a launch. We have separated the fairing, and we can separate that now because?
Because there's no air around the upper satellite anymore. The fairing protects the satellite. No more fairing needed. So fairing jettisoned and saves 2 tons for the rest of the mission.
All right, briefly get us started. On the upper left, you see the cursor, and on the lower left, the 3 letters, there's A and V on the bottom. Start with the cursor on the top.
So cursor on the top, in fact, is...
We'll have to come back from the news after that. We'll get a description of all that from Pierre-Yves. For now, the latest news from Arianespace. August 2nd, Arianespace successfully launched another 2 communication satellites, Intelsat 20 for the international Intelsat group and HILAS-2 for Europe. The 64th Ariane 5 mission set 2 records. Nearly 10.2 tons were lifted into orbit from the French Guiana Space Base, and it was the 50th straight success for the European vehicle.
On September 17th, Arianespace affiliate StarSem successfully launched METOP B on a Soyuz from Baikonur. This was the 1792nd launch of Soyuz, now also launched from French Guiana. Weighing 4 tons, METOP B was injected into polar orbit and will provide weather data such as atmospheric temperature and humidity. And 2 more Soyuz flights from the space base before the year is out. In September, the last 2 Galileo in-orbit validation satellites for Europe's GPS constellation, and in November, the Pléiade 1B Earth observation system goes into polar orbit. The VA210 launch with 2 telecom satellites is due in November. The Ariane vehicle for this mission is already assembled here at the base. In parallel, the 4th ATV named Albert Einstein has arrived. The 20-ton vehicle is undergoing tests for 6 months prior to its launch in spring next year.
Vega's second mission also just ahead. She will deliver the first of 5 Verta flights, the Vega Research and Technology Accompaniment Program. These missions will run between 2013 and 2015.
So I'm back to explain to you the significance of the curve that you can see on the upper left corner of your screen. So this is the theoretical curve which the launch vehicle is supposed to follow, and the dot corresponds to the current position of the launch vehicle. Everything is normal, the dot is on the curve. You can see A is the altitude, 170 kilometers. That's the height of the launch vehicle over the ground.
Back with more, but first the second of 2 news reports on Arianespace. Lots going on with new contracts.
The annual Euroconsult gathering drew many world satellite operators in Paris to discuss ongoing business and future opportunities. Arianespace participated in the traditional roundtable with other launch service providers. Geneviève Fioraso, the French minister in charge of space, was invited by Arianespace.
At Euroconsult, Hispasat once again chose Arianespace to launch 2 new satellites, Amazonas 4A and Hispasat AG1. They will be the Spanish operator's 8th and 9th satellites launched by Arianespace.
Today we have signed a new contract with Arianespace that includes 2 new satellites of our fleet, the Amazonas 4A and the AG1. We have taken this decision because our track record with Arianespace has been very good during these years that we have been working with them.
Also at the conference, Arianespace and SkyPerfect GSAT Corporation signed a multi-launch agreement for Arianespace launch services in the near future for the Japanese group.
The Berlin Air Show was the occasion to recall the essential ties existing between Germany and Arianespace. At this event, Peter Hinz, coordinator for space and aerospace at the German Ministry of Economics and Technology, exchanged his views with Jean-Yves Le Gall at a dinner at the Osterbank.
At the Asia-Pacific Conference in September, Jean-Yves Le Gall presented an Arianespace customer, Tom Choi, with the Satellite Executive of the Year award. Finally, also in September, while on a 3-day visit to French Guiana, the French Minister of Overseas Departments and Territories, Victorine Laurel, visited the CSG space base with its director Bernard Chamoul and Arianespace's Patrick Loire. On the lower left of your screen, the letter A, that's our altitude, you can see, and under that, V is our speed. We've been picked up by our first downrange tracking station over the border in Brazil. They received telemetry. What's telemetry?
So telemetry is the data emitted by the launch vehicle during the flight. This data is made of onboard parameters. There are above 1,000 parameters, such as engine pressure, temperature, and vibrations. And this is sent in real time back to ground, where it is received by the stations.
All Ariane's trajectory. There is the extinction of the lower stage and separation of the lower stage. You see how that happens. And ignition of the upper stage. These three commands given by the onboard computer in just about 12 seconds. So we're in the third and final powered flight phase, the upper stage burning on a single engine, like the first. What's the role of the upper stage?
So the upper stage provides a fine-tuning of the launch vehicle trajectory. It's much less powerful as the stage that are now separated, but it nonetheless provides a significant kick to the desired orbit for separation of the spacecrafts.